What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, males and females, and of course humans and domesticated coyotes? I am not Mercenary Gaming. In fact, I am Intrepidity from Mercenaries Gaming, and I'm going to bring you a 2v2 cast right now, and this is going to talk a bit about Zerg strategy and some of the openings and ways that you can go about bringing out this matchup. We have a Zerg Terran versus our Zerg opponents right here, and they seem to know who they are, not who they are, I'm pretty sure I know who they are, but these guys are from the same team. They are both from Scryn. Yeah, that's them. So, I have my man Eldrass up here, also known as Bloodlust, and we are on Skype doing this while we're playing, so yep, there was an offensive. Good luck, have fun from myself and the other two players, and Eldrass is focusing a lot on his macro and his awesomeness. Now I'm going to be casting most of this from my point of view, or at least from just looking at what I'm doing, as I am going to be casting a strategy about how to fast expand and go into RoachHydra, which is a particular thing, it is a opening that I like to do in this matchup, depending on whether I'm going to fast expand or go for the 14-14 gas pool. Now, and I will of course be making another strategy video about that later on. Now, you're wondering, you know, what's with all the no content, guys? Why haven't you posted anything yet? And the sad thing is, I've cast like 8 games, and 6 of those games were cast using a inferior microphone, wherein every time I talked the sound levels went through the roof or none at all, and it was just terrible. And I'm sorry guys, but I just had to throw those out, but it was good practice anyway, and a lot of fun talking to myself in my room. Now, and the other two, of course, I somehow managed to not only the first one, I didn't press the fraps button to record, so it didn't record. So I was talking to myself then as well. And the other one, well, I don't think I plugged in my microphone, so there wasn't any sound coming from me. Again, I was just talking to myself in my room, but hopefully you guys are okay with that, and you guys can understand that I love Starcraft that much that I'd love to do that, and hopefully the sound levels and the mic, and I've pressed the fraps button hopefully this time, so it shall all be alright for you guys. Now, I went the 15-16, obviously hatch first, into spawning pool, and I'm going to be taking all 4 of my gas geysers at the same time. This is sort of a quasi Spanishiwa build. It's sort of a spin-off that I have experimented with in the past, and it is a lot of fun, and I can see the comments coming up right now. Isn't this going to be a bit susceptible to the early rushes that some players do? And of course it is. Any fast expand build in a 2v2 can always be susceptible to any sort of build, and of course we have an unfortunate failing of a wall off, and I was like micro to Eldrass, and he's just like no, so we didn't manage to hold this one off as well as we might have wanted to, but it was alright. We survived in the end, and yeah, so it turns out that it's one of the slightly longer games you might find in a 2v2, and we can see we've unfortunately managed to let in some lings, which is never preferable. But going back to the early pressure side of things, the idea of it is that you get your friend here, not your opponent, to sort of save you for a majority of it, and then once you have sufficient units, they expand, and then you destroy them with your obvious superiority within macro. And you may not have seen there, I was like trying to micro my lings as best I could. I was and you know, all 3 of these guys right here, if I can select them, other than the SC, are on low life, because I was just doing my best to not lose. And I tried sticking my queen in that little hole next to the mineral so that only a few lings could attack me at once, but of course it didn't work out so well because I wasn't in far enough, and there were 3 lings that could attack me at once, which was not a big deal from his point of view, and I had these 2 lings stuck down here That I did not realize were there, probably because I had them rallied up here and the wall off was finished so that I could not stick them up there, otherwise there would have been a lot of help in that battle. But I did manage to clean up those lings, and we see them both expanding right now around the same time, and Aldras over here is getting up a starport and 3 barracks as well as a factory, and I reckon this is going to, well, it's going to turn out rather well, but of course there will be some heavy bumps in our play, and of course in the enemies, but we did have quite a bit of trouble holding off some early pressure, as shall be shown in the later stages. So here we go, I'm taking all 4 of my gas guys at the same time. That was supposed to hold shift and select all of the gas geysers, but there you go. And I like also rallying down my first hatchery to my second until I get enough drones around that area. Of course we see an expansion from my man Eldras as well, and we see I was trying to do a bit of a counterattack with my lings. I think I was a little successful. Yeah, we've got a few kills on those lings over there, and of course I did note the creep coming out of the second base from Pain, and so I've got a relatively good idea as to what is going on now, and I've just managed to fail my micro a bit there, putting 4 guys in gas but quickly remedying the situation, as well as sticking 4 guys. No, I don't do that. I stick 3 guys in every gas geyser, just so that you guys know that I'm not a complete dickhead, which I may or may not be. Now, I also like getting up my RoachHydra, and I think I got this one a bit late. I meant to get that a bit earlier so that you can hammer out roaches right around the time that you start your +1/+1, which is also another key component of the build, is upgrades. You want to macro and you want to get upgrades so that in the later stages of the game you can absolutely destroy them. And of course we see some Mutalisk action on the way from Mr. Pain, as well as Exile just doing his regular roach thing, and I believe he went in RoachHydra's game as well. But you know, I'm just so pro at this game. No, not really. I am, of course, a diamond player, and my man Eldras is kicking butt in the lower. He's in Bronze League, unfortunately, but I still love him, and that is okay. I think he's a total boss, and he is wanting to learn, and he is doing quite a good job. As we can see here, he is going for a drop, and which should do sufficient amounts of damage. I'm taking my 3rd base right now, and you know, I am, as I said, a diamond, so I know sort of what I'm doing, but not as much as those people who are actually good and know what they're doing. Now I am getting up my lair so that I can go for a fast, +2/+2, as well as my roach speed, and I think I threw down my Hydralisk den a bit late in this game as well, which was a bit unfortunate, but yes, we see here I'm not that bad at making roaches. I did have them sent down to see what damage I could do to the expansions of our friendly opponent, persons there. And we see the 10 Mutalisks just striking into action, and unfortunately we somehow had these 2 dropships just sitting there, excuse me, medevacs, and they got taken out, which was very disappointing, and I'm quite sad about that. Now I am into my really scared mode at the moment because I wasn't expecting mutas, so you can see I made a total of 4 spore crawlers at each of my base, not really, at both of my bases, 2 on each base, as well as getting the +2/+2 that I was talking about earlier, and macroing pretty hard. As we see here, I am just pinging my map, and I was like, and on Skype obviously, I was like, Eldras bro, we have got mutas coming in our base, and he's got some awful stuff that will go down immediately. Now we see here I'm at 50 drones, and you know, everyone's starting to macro up and get more drones and of course units. Now I think I didn't make as many drones as I should have this game, and this was quite funny in game. I was pretty scared. I know my man Eldras was thinking that we had lost. We were just we were up in arms at this because this Mutalisk harass not only took us off guard, even though we should have known about it, but we as well as my Hydralisks are just so slow, especially off creep, that they were just punishing us everywhere with just 8 Mutalisks, and of course the more that will ensue. Now I'm trying to split up my Hydralisks as best as I can, but I also want to make sure that my man Eldrass doesn't lose his entire base, and he, as we can see, he had his SCVs pulled right away, trying to seek Solitude and of course Sanctuary in my base, but that, or at least nearer to that, but of course we still do not have completely sufficient anti-air compared to the mutalisking numbers of Mr. Payne. Now that is of course 18. Now we see here +2 almost done. I don't think I've made about 10 more drones in the process of this, but I believe I should have been more up to like 70 or maybe a bit more in this case, but you know, I was a bit scared about those Mutalisks, and of course this map is not very good when it comes to expansions, as and you know, I'm always leery of taking this base here because my man Eldrass might want it, you know, so I don't want to steal his base. And of course, for some reason, we have some mis-rallied Marauders just getting picked apart by these +1 Mutalisks. And we see I'm always really bad at this. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do areas of my play, wherein you need that infestation pit around the time that the upgrades are about a quarter to a third done, so you can get your hive up so that you can continue up those free upgrades as soon as possible. But you know, like the dope that I am, I always just wait until the upgrades finish and I go, oh my god, I better get my infestation pit up because I haven't done that previously, wherein I perhaps should have done that. Now we start seeing a pretty sizable RoachHydra force. We see 22 Hydralisks and 16 Roaches for myself, and we see, of course, taking out the Hydralisk den because we don't need any more kicks in the teeth, do we? Of course we do, because his Mutalisks are just, you know, wreaking havoc, and it's just painful, and he's just taken out my Hydralisks and his picking apart Eldrass's Marines, and it's just terrible and not what we want. But for some reason he seems a bit scared of his 2 Spore Crawlers just sitting there, as well as Hydras that I may have just made or stuck in there. And of course Exile, looking to see where the weak points were, he saw that we were just doing our best to fend off those Mutalisks, and why not just come in the back and destroy us. And unfortunately for Eldrass, he's got quite a few overstimmed Marines that are easily susceptible to one-shotting by Roaches. He needed a few more medevacs as opposed to those Vikings, but we're just getting destroyed by those Mutalisks. And of course we see the +2/+2 coming into play quite well over here. And also I've been adjusting the sound levels for you guys. I don't know if this is good sound or not, and I would like your guys, your guys, you know, because I'm just the best English over here in Camp Intrepidity. Not really. I'm just going to be asking for your feedback on the sound levels as well as my microphone at boost level. Of course, dropping a mule here to mine at the second base of Eldrass, and the Mutalisking Cloud just sitting in the corner there before not wanting to engage on these 0/0 Marines, and half of them are overstimmed. And I would have I think he's a bit timid with his Mutalisks at this point, wherein he could have done quite a bit more damage, but Hydralisks and Roaches are starting to amount to something that like, you know, higher numbers. And we see the +3/+3 finally getting started for me, and I should have got that down a lot earlier. And we see, of course, these 6 Spine Crawlers at the base of their ramp, and some pretty nice creep spread from them. I am always absolutely terrible with my creep spread, and you will notice this in all of my games. I just concentrate on my macro and my micro. I am so bad at creep spreading, or spreading creep, that is, but I should be so much better. It's just terrible. But we see the 1/1 upgrades coming up from Exile while I'm getting my free down, which is going to be one of the biggest legs up that I have in this build. And of course